Wow, seems like Arena is the way to go if you want to play leaders. We're up against a fellow bronzer, although I don't know how strong this person is. I wish it showed you their elo in the arena page. What do we got here? Okay, this person is rated 105, which means absolutely nothing. I've lost to people in the hundreds many, many times. All right, my opponent grabs the assassin, which is a tricky character because, you know, it has a lot of control over where you can be and where you can't. I'm still going to play normally here. We're going to grab, I think, the acrobat. The bruiser's a bit less appealing with the protector here. There's a part of me that, oh, right. Oh, geez, I could have taken the bruiser and the protector. But then, of course, the jailer could come up. So, yeah, I think I'm fine with taking the acrobat there, just getting a quick jump. And now the question is, do we take the hermit and cub or the bruiser? I'm going to grab the hermit and cub. And the reason I'm going to do that is I value the extra protection with an assassin in play. I think if not for that, the hermit cub is strong but a little, you know, boring. I might have preferred to just take the bruiser. Okay, my opponent grabs the bruiser, so now I have to think about whether I want to take the protector or, I guess, the jailer. Let's just jump up with the acrobat. Let's move all my pieces forward in a flying V formation here. Straight? Let's go straight. That's fine. And then the leader, I think I'll just keep where he is. Let's not do anything super crazy. As you can see it from the last game, sometimes when you talk yourself into being aggressive with the leader, you just end up losing the game. Now, the brewmaster could be good with the acrobat, but I think, given that my opponent has this bruiser and that it's a very strong character, I'm going to take... Sorry, the brewmaster could be good with the acrobat. I'm going to take the jailer here, and we're going to use this to try to stay close to the bruiser and stop the bruiser from doing any bruisings. Okay, so my opponent's playing kind of aggressively here. I now have a fairly aggressive option myself that I think I'm going to take. It's very risky. Oh, Jesus, my opponent grabs the illusionist, huh? Okay, so the thing I was thinking of doing is putting the cub here and jumping here with the acrobat. That does give the illusionist the chance to jump up an extra step and get pretty centralized, which I'm not a huge fan of. Okay, so yeah, I think what we're going to do is, I think, still move up the cub. And you, I guess, can just kind of go there. But now with the acrobat, instead of jumping to this square, we're just going to jump here and leave it there. Now my leader needs to move. I think it makes sense to move this way away from the assassin and towards the jailer who can protect me from the bruiser. So I like this a lot. I could also take the protector to stop any illusionist shenanigans, but I think just something that can give me a little bit more aggressive potential is very tempting. The brewmaster is, again, good with the acrobat and can help me get better jumps. The vizier gives me protection. My main issue here is that the acrobat's the only character I have that can really be aggressive. No one else is really capable of doing a whole lot of aggression. So I could take the brewmaster for like a little bit of extra aggression, but the thing is, even if that helps the acrobat jump into position, the brewmaster himself is not that great at getting to the enemy leader. So I'm going to grab the vizier. Just do what I always do. Let's take the vizier. Let's put it on the side with the enemy leader. And my opponent got the archer, which I'm actually fine with. It's not, I think, a super strong character. And I do have the jailer to prevent any, like, bruiser into archer shenanigans. All right, so my opponent's getting up with the assassin, as is eminently reasonable. But I can move up with the jailer, put the leader behind my hermit, and be okay. Obviously, now I wish that my hermit and cub were swapped, but that pretty much always happens. Now we have an interesting situation with the illusionist here, because with this, I can actually, the illusionist can actually swap with the hermit after the bruiser steps out of the way. That's a little bit nerve-wracking. I do have a very slippery leader thanks to the vizier. So maybe that's not the literal end of the world. Okay, so my opponent got the brewmaster illusionist combo. Yeah, I'm a little nervous about it. So here I can jump with the acrobat. My opponent could brewmaster the illusionist and swap. In general, I have to be careful. If I put the jailer here to stop the bruiser, my opponent could brewmaster the illusionist here and swap with the jailer, and then the bruiser does get to go. Alternatively, if I move my hermit and put the jailer here, my opponent can do the same thing. What I would have liked is to be able to have the acrobat jump into this spot, but that is not possible. Oh boy, I really got to be thoughtful about this. I think what I'm going to do is take advantage of my slippery leader. We're going to jump here, and I accept that the opponent can use the illusionist to swap with the acrobat. That's fine with me. We're going to move the vizier up. We're going to run with the leader this way. We're going to do this so that the assassin doesn't kill me. And unfortunately, I do have to keep the cub in place for the assassin to not kill me. Then we're going to go here. We're going to plug this hole with the jailer. And I know that the illusionist can swap with the jailer. But that requires the bruiser to move without doing any bruising. So the bruiser has to go here, which is a bit out of position. And then you can swap with the jailer, but then my leader, or then your leader is kind of close to my acrobat. So I'm going to just take that trade-off. And what I think I'm going to do is use the hermit and cub to box out the assassin. Swing my leader over this way. And then maybe use the leader as a checkmating piece. It's always very tricky, of course, because you cannot move your leader. Oh, my opponent's going this way with the leader. Okay. So my opponent used the brewmaster to move the leader an extra time. Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense because the leader is safer over here, far away from my vizier, which would be my other checkmating piece, or possibly my own leader. And if I swing the leader the other way, it's always dangerous because of the illusionist here, who can always swap with my jailer. If this were the protector, I wouldn't be able to do that, or my opponent wouldn't be able to do that. Okay, so now my opponent can't swap with the jailer because then he loses, so that's good at least. Okay, my opponent's moving this way with the assassin and in with the bruiser. Oh, interesting. Okay. So I have to be very careful here. If I put my leader here, I do lose the game because then the illusionist swaps with the jailer. And then with the jailer here, the bruiser can now push the hermit for the win. But I am alive on this square, so I could just do that, get far away from the assassin, and just kind of slide everybody. Oh, what? You know, I could just... Hang on. I think this is the move, isn't it? Isn't this the move? Don't I just do this? I think I'm just going to do this. I didn't calculate it all the way, so sorry if this makes me lose. But I'm going to go here. Now the illusionist can't do anything, and the bruiser can't do anything because of the jailer. And now my king, or my leader, gets to go over here. The bruiser can't step in. The brewmaster's not near anything. Can't give anything a kick. And the acrobat, I could jump in here. Oh, hang on. Let's move my vizier as well. I could jump in here. I'm not sure if I want to. I think what I'd rather do is go here. I want to discourage the leader from going this way, because if the leader's on this side, then my leader, again, thanks to the vizier, is actually a potential checkmating piece, and I value that a lot. I'm also technically threatening checkmate here, because the acrobat can step in and the jailer can step in. Now, my opponent can go here with the brewmaster, which he might want to do anyways, because that puts him next to the illusionist and the leader. He could do some brewmastery trickery. But at least then he's cutting himself off, and then my leader could potentially swing around over here, where he's actually quite safe, and threaten to checkmate the leader. Okay, it looks like this is exactly what's happening. Alright, I think we're going to do it. We're going to go for the leader-enabled checkmate. Again, I haven't calculated it precisely, so I don't know that it's actually going to work, but that's what I am going to try to do. So the jailer goes... Well, hold on, my opponent hasn't moved their leader yet. So they could still reposition. They could put the leader here, for example, to stop the acrobat from jumping back over. No, here they lose, because the hermit steps in. Ha! The first time in history that the hermit and cub and the hermit is in the correct spot. Which, of course, this always happens when you take the hermit and cub. You always end up wishing they were in the wrong place, or they were wishing they were swapped. But, of course, that's only because after you place them, your opponent's going to play around it and make sure that the leader is near the cub, not near the hermit. But, yeah, it's always just kind of funny because it feels like you always wish they were in the swap places. But now my hermit is in the correct place. This seems pretty good. So the main thing I'm worried about, I suppose, is that my... Oh, never mind. Okay, I was going to say, if this space was open, my opponent could brewmaster the illusionist there and do some illusioning. So I was trying to figure out if the acrobat should jump into this spot. But now, okay, I feel all right about this. feel like this might be okay. I mean, it's very risky because the assassin, remember, is the assassin. Now, my leader can't checkmate with the illusionist here because this is a spot that my leader is not allowed to legally go into. All right, I mean, let's go for it. So I could do something wacky like that, but no, let's just go here. And let's swarm in. Okay, so my leader needs to move. I got to make sure I don't forget to move the leader here. Can I move it all the way here? There's really no point putting it here because I still can't go in for checkmate. I could just put it here. Keep it somewhat centralized. I don't... Okay, this is one of those things where I just don't see how my opponent is avoiding checkmate. I need to mainly make sure I don't get checkmated. How's my opponent avoiding checkmate? Oh, they just put the leader in here. So I'd have to be a little bit careful. It's not like I just win next turn. But I don't see how my opponent could threaten checkmate, or how my opponent can give me an unblockable checkmate threat next time. My opponent can put their leader here, but I just don't think that they can survive the turn after that. I don't think. All right, we're going to end the action phase and call it a day. And if I lose because I miss something here, then completely fair, and I totally deserve to lose. But yeah, I think what's happening here, based on my, potentially flawed tactical understanding, is my opponent... Whoa, okay, interesting. I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting my opponent to go in. Without the bruiser, my opponent can't threaten checkmate, so it's an interesting choice on my opponent's part. Okay, can I do some weird jumps? Like I could jump here and put the jailer in, but that doesn't actually help at all. Okay, so I can just go here. I need to make sure I don't lose to the assassin, of course. I think we leave the cub where it is. And then I believe I can just step, well, really anywhere that's 2 spaces away from the assassin. Because the illusionist can touch me, but nothing else can even come close to touching me. So we'll just do this. And I mean, maybe I'm a crazy person, but I don't see how my opponent's getting out of checkmate. Because now, either my opponent gets suffocated, or there's 2 pieces touching him. And if he moves the brewmaster and then runs with the leader, the acrobat can just step in. And the jailer steps in after. Oh my god, no, he actually has another turn still. God, how are people so slippery? He does have another turn because the brewmaster goes here, the leader goes here, and the illusionist goes here, and I can't get to that spot to suffocate. Okay, so maybe the more precise thing is to move my acrobat here and my jailer up. But then he can't run either direction. I think I have to do it. I'm sure I'm not getting checkmated. My opponent doesn't have another piece that touches me besides the illusionist, and I think that this is now over. So one of the things I love about this game, it's really hard to win without being in at least some amount of danger yourself. Like even when I was playing against like one of the top 10 players in the world last time, when he beat me, it was close. Like I was coming in after his leader, and again, I don't know if I could have avoided it had I not blundered into checkmate, but it's one of those things where you are always on the edge. There's an assassin just 1 space away from your leader, terrifying you. But yeah, I don't see how he's surviving it. It's all bad. It's all bad stuff here. Though I almost missed this move. I think it was important to do this, otherwise my opponent would have had an extra turn. All right, well that's definitely that then. Good game, Mr. Maval. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like and or subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. The hell are those sound effects? Jesus Christ. I've never played Arena before on BGA, so I was not expecting that.